I was elated. At the same time, I felt very challenged. At the same time, I said, an offer coming from Mr. Kohli, I can't say no. Whether it's doable or not, I don't know. But I cannot say no to him. But if he says do it, I will do it. So I took up a whole job as a challenge. So let's make it happen. There's nothing like can't happen. So we can do it. We have to find a way. So that's how I joined Tata Elxsi. I think each one of you should believe that you can be number one or number two in the business that you're in, or don't be there. What do I want to do? What do I want to be? How do you think I can go about it? And why should I do it? So that hit me like a bullet, actually. What he said. This is something which I have to take as a mantra and see what we can do.
Namaskar, welcome to another podcast. Today I'm joined by Mr. S. Devarajan, who's authored this wonderful book titled Designed to Win, the Tata Elxsi Story. Mr. Arjun Malhotra, co-founder of HCL, says a compelling read for business leaders, aspiring entrepreneurs, and anyone intrigued by the art of transformation. Devarajan sir.
Yes.
He founded.
Happy to be here with you, Arjun.
He founded Transformation Consulting to provide technology companies a platform to accelerate and transform their business strategies.
That's correct.
You're an independent director on the board of Tata Play Limited and serves on the board of Prime Focus Limited, Prime Focus Technologies Limited, and Quest Corp. You also sit on board of DNEG India, one of the largest VFX companies in the world, with 8 Academy Awards to its name.
Yes.
Wonderful, sir.
Thank you.
Having gone through the book and major portions of it, I would sort of understand that this has been your career path has been into this thing where now you're consulting. Right?
True.
So you've developed business strategies, you've transformed businesses, and you've taken Tata Elxsi out of major crisis.
True that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where you also mulled upon changing names, you got into conversations which were tricky. But what were you doing at the age of 24 is also another interesting story. But before we jump into it, where are you from, sir? How's life been? Kaisa chal raha hai?
Okay. So basically, we come from a small town, native, or if you go back to roots, called Palakkad, Palghat as it was called earlier. It's the border town between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And it's a funny kind of place because you have a lot of Tamilian migrants into that place in Kerala. So we speak a very funny language, which is a hybrid of Malayalam and Tamil. So the Tamilians hate us because they don't understand what we are saying. The Malayalis hate us because they don't understand what we are saying.
But what dialect is it? What is it called?
It's Tamil. We call it Tamil, but the Tamilians don't accept it as Tamil. Neither do the Malayalis. So anyway, I was just physically born there because my mother's parents hailed from there. So normally, your mother will go to her parents' house for delivery. So physically I was born there, but I never lived there. My parents were in Kolkata. My father was serving in the railways. So within about a few months of being born, my mother came with me to Calcutta. So I have lived actually the first 25 years of my life in Calcutta. So at heart, I'm a bigger Bengali than Tamil.
So you know Bengali also?
Better than my Tamil.
So you know Bengali, you know Tamil, you know Malayalam.
Should I say, I know Bengali, I don't know Tamil.
So where did you study in Kolkata, sir?
I studied at Don Bosco School in Calcutta.
And then?
Then IIT Kharagpur, yeah.
And this is in 60s?
Yeah, 60s, 70s, yeah.
It was a different world back then, sir.
Yeah. The world doesn't change, you change. The world is always the same.
The world's always the same. Why do you say that?
Yeah.
World's always the same?
Yeah, it's a perspective, no? It's a Maya, no? Finally,
Yeah. But regardless, you've seen India transforming over the years.
Yeah.
And like we were speaking about at the beginning of the conversation, or before the recording began, that you've seen how computers and technology got incorporated in businesses in India.
Correct.
And essentially now they rule in a way. In fact,
Rule the world.
Yeah. A couple of days ago, AI India Summit was held in Delhi. And the new innovations that you see and the kind of transformations, the pace of transformation is remarkable.
Absolutely.
And you've seen it up close. Tell us a bit about your journey from there on. After what did you study at Kharagpur, sir?
I did electrical engineering. Yeah.
That is was a go-to field perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because computing to us waqt
no, it was very, very native, very, very primitive. Yeah.
And what did you do right after that?
I got campus placed at this company called HCL, which was called Hindustan Computers Limited those days, and into sales and marketing.
But HCL was also pretty young उस time
Yeah,
पे.
we were just 18 to 24 months old when I joined them. So I must have been the 70th or 80th employee or something.
So
like
what
that.
was work at HCL? This is what years what are we talking about?
We're talking about 78.
78.
Yeah.
And what was happening in terms of how was the space in general?
So if you look at computing technology,
Yes, absolutely.
HCL was, see what happened, I don't know whether you remember, we had companies like IBM, which was in India, which was importing and selling large computers in this country. And then in 76, there was this government changed the policy and said multinationals, if they want to kind of continue in this country, you need to have local equity here. Otherwise, you have to leave the country. So companies like IBM, Coca-Cola, in 76, 77, they left the country. So there was a big void in the technology space. And that void was filled with HCL also. So HCL was one of the early companies who said, okay, let's look at this opportunity. But we are not going to be making computers as big as what IBM was making. However, at the lower end of the spectrum, they started designing and manufacturing computers in India. So there were only two or three companies those days. DCM Data Products was there.
Did
which
it
is
evolve
not-
into?
Sorry?
Did it evolve into something? Or
No, it just shut down shop.
Shut down.
And then HCL was there. And there was another Sarabhai group company out of Gujarat called ORG Systems. They were making small computers. But HCL was the only one
At a
which
scale
remained
which
and
remained
blossomed.
itself.
Yeah.
And how long were you at HCL?
I was there for about 5 years. Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
So from 78 till, so you were seeing that transition up close. The Asian Games are happening. The Janata Party came to power.
Yeah, and there were no
Janata Party-
computers in this country. There were very few computers. I
Even
remember-
television screen, it's popularly known as in the 1980s when the games happened. It is then color televisions became popular in the country.
With the Asian Games, no?
Yes.
Yeah. And computers also, within about 3 or 4 months of my joining HCL, they released a half-page ad in the local dailies saying the first 13 HCL computer systems have been installed in this country. 13.
The first 13.
13, that's all.
And that was a half-page ad.
Yeah, that was a half-page ad because it's a milestone, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how big were the systems, sir?
What size of this table?
Nice.
There was a tabletop, there was a...
And you were managing the sales.
I was managing. Not managing, I was a
Part of the sales team.
young kid, part of the sales team.
So, and how old were you?
Just graduated, no?
Yeah.
22,
So at
23
20
years.
So at
something like
24, there's a story with the book.
Huh.
How you, at the age of 24, you crossed.
Yes.
What is that about, sir? Tell us about it.
That's actually a very, now we laugh, but it was a very interesting milestone in my life and my career. So from, I was in HCL in Delhi, for about 3-4 months as part of my orientation induction. Then HCL opened an office in Calcutta, so I was posted there because I was born and brought up there. They thought a Bengali salesman would be effective, not knowing that corporates don't speak the local language. Anyway, I was there for a year and then they moved me to Madras, Chennai now. And over there, my sales territory was part of Tamil Nadu and part of interior Andhra Pradesh because we didn't have a major operation in Hyderabad. So the Madras office was overlooking all that. So one of my prospective clients was in deep in Andhra Pradesh. And those days, you send all communication through letters and a lot of to and fro went with this client. It was a very large paper mill near the city of Kurnool, on the banks of the Tungabhadra River. It's a mighty river. And then finally I got a letter from them, from the CFO, saying that we are at advanced stage of discussion, so why don't you come for a discussion and all that. So I sent him the proposal and then I took an overnight train to Kurnool from Madras and reached, not overnight, some day train which reached in the evening, and all I could get was a cycle rickshaw at the station, nothing else. It was a very primitive small town and I got into the cycle rickshaw with a shirt, pant, shoes, briefcase and one bag and all that. All the local kids, urchins started running along with the cycle rickshaw, very happy to see one alien who has entered their town. So I told the rickshawala, take me to some hotel, lodge, whatever. So he said, okay, and he took me into the typical one of those lodge, you know. So I went to check in, and the guy is asking me at the counter, sir, you want attached or detached? I said, means what? Bathroom attached, bathroom detached? I said, attached. So I checked in, had some dinner, went to sleep, and morning, about 9:30 or something, there's a ferry which crosses the river with all the staff, employees of the paper mill factory to go on the other side. That's where the factory was and the corporate office and all that. So I was up in time, finished a quick breakfast, and went to the river bank and then looked for the ferry. And that guy said, the ferry operator was saying, sir, the last ferry has gone. I said, it's 9:30. They said, so no, the ferry went for up and down trip, then it fell defective. So it's under maintenance. I said, I have to get on the other side. How do I go? He said, no, we will organize something, some boat. So one fellow came and said, I will take you across. He spoke in Telugu. I tried to speak with him in Hindi, but that's all we both could understand. But I realized that he was willing to take me across the river in a boat. I said, sure. How much? He said, 2 rupees. I said, fine. And went down the steps of the river and found a coracle. Do you know what a coracle is? It's a round cane bamboo kind of structure, like a ulta saucepan, you know, lined with some leather and coir rope.
Is it usually used for one person?
No. Bigger ones, they have 3-4 people.
They use the ferry also.
3-4 people, but it's all mainly fishermen and those kind of people use it, you know. And it's in shallow rivers. I don't know what. Don't ask me all those details. I don't know. But then when I saw it, I got a shock of my life. And the moment I saw that coracle, the river seemed wider than ever. You know, it seemed very much wider. And I said, okay, let me sit on it. He said, sir, you sit down at the edge of it, sit cross-legged. I sat on my briefcase and I held on for my life. And there was water, kind of steeping in from the coracle also, wetting my pants. All that was happening. Finally, we went. And center of the river, the damn things were going round and round and very turbulent. Yeah. Finally, I reached the other side, and that guy at the other side, that ferry guy, the ferry station for the company, the guy got shocked. And I said, I need to go to the corporate office. He called up the office. They sent a jeep, and I jumped onto the jeep and fully shaken. I reached the other side. So went to the CFO's office. The secretary said, "Please wait, sir." And she looked at me. I said, "Where does this guy come from? He looks so pale." Then the CFO says, "How did you come, Mr. Devarajan? There's no ferry service. It's under maintenance." I said, "I know, sir, but I got a coracle and I came." He just took off on me. He said, "What? You're mad? You're this and that. Coming by coracle. Do you know how dangerous it is?" And I said, "I really don't know. I have fixed an appointment with you. I have to keep up the appointment. I've come all the way from Chennai and I cannot go back without seeing you. So I've come." He looked at me, smiled, said, "Go freshen up," and ordered some chai coffee for me. And then we discussed on the proposal. Hardly 10 minutes we discussed. He had already done his homework. Then he said, "Since you've come all the way, let me see if the MD is free. And if he's free, then we can spend 5 minutes with him." Then 10-15 minutes, the MD called us. We both went. And then he asked him about the proposal to the CFO. CFO said, "Everything looks fine. I think we can go ahead," and all that. Then CFO told the MD the story of how I came across the river. I got one more shelling from the MD, saying, "Don't do these things, young man. You don't know the risk of doing these things. You are young, hot-blooded, and blah, blah, blah." Finally, he said, "I love your perseverance. I love your commitment." And he told the CFO, "Why don't you just type out the purchase order, release it, give him his advance check." All that happened. I went back a very happy man.
Sir, but what are the lessons here for young people?
Young people, perseverance. So, come what may, I had to be on the other side. But I wouldn't certainly drive that lesson home to the point of, risking your life for this. I don't think you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but perseverance, commitment, there's a degree of passion, right? That I want to do this. I think that's also very key.
I think a point that I sort of got from the story is that back in the day, when modes of communication were limited, now everybody's on WhatsApp.
Huh.
Sir, I'm getting late. Everybody just sends up saying, "Sir, I'm
Correct.
getting late." And it eases communication, but then it also gives anybody or any person who's working with somebody a leeway or an opportunity to sort of take an excuse. Oh, sir, bus is late, so I can't come, or something like that.
Hmm.
But because back in the day there were only letters and there were timestamps attached that this person has to be here at 10 a.m., the person who's expecting him is also in the office by 10 a.m. because this
True
person
that.
is supposed
Yeah.
to come. And the other person who is on his way
Hmm.
ensures that the other person is waiting on the other end, which is why I have to be on time.
Agreed.
And that sort of has changed in the last
The bond, no?
the bond
Hmm.
that you when you
Contract.
say the
It's a
contract,
contract,
the
yeah.
second you
Yeah.
say something, you have to deliver on it.
Hmm.
It's as good as writing on the stone.
I would not fully agree. Even in those days, people say, I'm not feeling well, I have a headache, I can't come, I'll see you tomorrow. And
But there was
likewise
this
from the other party also.
But there was this general expectation
Yeah.
that when you are saying something and you want to say that this is the appointment time, you got to deliver, and it was expected in general from young people also.
Correct.
To just do it. I said, and this is when you were at HCL, and you were just 24. People at 24 are still studying these days. Majority population.
Right.
But how was your experience at HCL? What were those early conversations and early interactions with Mr. Shiv Nader?
You want a fun anecdote or you want
Fun and
See,
learning is both, sir.
So, in the first 10 days that I was in HCL, we were about 14, 15 of us joined. Those days, HCL used to only hire people from IIMs and IITs. Okay. Not even an REC or an NIT they would go to. So, we had a team of about 14, 15 of us who joined this induction training program. And all the senior management of HCL would come and spend time with us, R&D, sales, marketing, HR, finance, just to give us a briefing of the company and all that. And of course, Arjun Malhotra being head of sales and marketing, director of marketing, he spent a lot of time. Every day he would take half a day with us and teach us, tactical things and all that. So at the end of about 5 days, we never saw Mr. Shiv Nader. He never came to talk to us. So one of those days, I think the 5th day, Friday or whatever, we were coming down from the 8th floor in Nehru Place by lift to come for lunch. So there were a lot of these nice hawker places in the quadrangle. We used to eat over there. So we were all in the lift and we were all chatting, and I said, yeah, everybody has met us. Mr. Shiv Nader has not met us. God knows where he is. Does he really work in this company? All of us were making fun. Lift stopped. We all walked out. One gentleman who was also in the lift, he shook hands with me. Hello, I'm Shiv Nadar. And we were all young, you know how it felt. So we all said, Naukri.
So this was your first meeting.
First meeting.
But how was generally just the environment at HCL in those early days?
See, nice to say, it was like a startup, We never knew what a startup was. Today there's a buzz and hype around startups. HCL was a startup then, Everybody was young, everybody was sub 30 in the company, That's all. Arjun must have been 28, 29 or something like that, Everybody was very young and everybody was gung-ho, and there was a lot of drive in the company. We must do this, we must do that. There's no formality, People come, she will come and sit on your table like this and say what's happening, like that. So, environment was very breezy, and everybody said the same thing about let's go forward, let's get it done, what next. So, everybody was pitching in.
So, how important is having a larger vision? Because there are two other players who did it, and before we jump into the Tata Elxsi story, HCL has found a lot of success, and it's been a game changer in the Indian computing space.
Yep.
But many companies, they fail to have a vision, a long-term objective, what they want to do. Do you think HCL understood it from day one, which is why the team was motivated enough to do and go all out for the company?
See, correct me. I mean, I may be stand corrected, but what I remember is HCL wanted to be the number one computer company then, and service the nation with our Indian products, and that's what HCL's I think vision was then, and at that point of time they achieved it, right, and so they had certainly had a vision, because without a vision they couldn't have reached where they have reached today, right. The vision statement may have been tweaked a little bit over time, but I don't think that got derailed or anything like that.
How important is vision statement for a business, for a company?
Any company? Say, I can put it in a different way. Like I mentioned to you, I'm a photographer, very passionate one, that too. So as a photographer, when you're looking at a picture, the big picture, as I call it, through your viewfinder, you find a proper landscape, right? Assuming I'm going for wildlife photography or cityscape or whatever, I see a beautiful landscape. I want to capture that. That's my vision. Okay? And my mission and my tactical stuff is all the minor things that come into that big landscape. Those I need to also capture, So I need to keep in mind the big picture and focus on these small things which are in front of me. That is today's goals, tomorrow's goals, next 4 years' goals. So from the visual landscape, I pick out bits and pieces and say, these are my milestones for success. So that is, I think, very key. So, otherwise, you lose focus, you lose direction. Na? Why do you say lose focus? Because you're seeing through the camera's eye.
So how does one structure or build a blueprint?
What do I want to do? What do I want to be? How do you think I can go about it? And who should do it? And why should I do it?
So ideally, companies should, one way to do it is put it all out on paper, have everybody aligned to the larger goal, and then pursue it.
Correct. And ask these questions, these fundamental questions that I said. The why should I do? What should I do? How should I do? When should I do? Timing also matters, because there are various milestones. But this is the overall
picture. Can you
picture.
Enumerate with some examples?
Shall I talk about the Tata Elxsi Story?
Of course,
or not yet?
Yes.
You're not ready to get there yet.
But let's do it, because this is how we'll switch into. So after HCL, let's first talk about how you got into Tata Elxsi, and then we address all these questions through the Tata Elxsi Story.
Sure. So after HCL, what happened to me? I did 5 years at it. You want me to do the...
Yes, okay. Yes. A little bit of time.
Did about 5 years at HCL. And then, there's another company called, multinational company then, called International Computers, ICL, which was a British company, which ran products very parallel to IBM, which was operational in India because they took a 40% Indian equity.
Okay.
So it was a listed company. So they diluted stakes when the government ruling came and continued to stay on. And I got a call from them and they said, why don't you come and join us? We need good salespeople.
So from Hindustan, you went to international.
So funnily, their corporate office or regional office was about half a kilometer down my office, HCL office. So
Nehru Place, yeah?
No, this was in Chennai. So I went and spoke to them and they said, no, we make very large mainframe computers. Starting price is 60, 70 lakhs, goes up to a couple of crores for a deal. And very large corporation like, the public sectors and TVS Group and those kind of people, RPG Group, they are the ones who buy these kind of machines. And would you be interested? I said, yeah, it's a different learning for me. So I was very keen to always keep abreast of what's going on and keep learning new things. I knew that HCL, whatever I've learned, I couldn't have learned more. It was more of the same that I could do. So I was not unhappy at all. No, it's just that I wanted progress in my career and my life. So I said okay to them and I joined them. And it was very large and understanding that company was taking a little time, but it was great. I sold about I was there just for 2 years because what happened was when the company is so large and the culture was not gelling with me. It was getting to be a little bureaucratic and, and decision making was slow and I was not ready for that kind of thing. So I said, not my cup of tea, though it made 2 or 3 sales, I remember. In those 2 years I was there and I was not very happy. So there was this gentleman who used to work with me in HCL, senior to me, and he founded a company, Mr. Mohan Reddy. He founded a company with Tatas, and those days the local government has to be involved to manufacture. They had the manufacturing license for computers.
Okay.
So the Andhra Pradesh government, Tatas, and Dr. Raj Reddy, he was the director of robotics and AI in Carnegie Mellon, and he had a technology for high-end computer systems.
Robotics and AI.
AI.
Back
You're
in
talking about?
1978.
Yeah, 1980.
1980.
So we are buzzing about AI. It was there already.
There
you know?
already.
So he started this to make high-end workstations in India. So he called me, Mohan called me, and he said, Dev, we want somebody to run the southern region operations. So from
But
a
how,
sales-
how did you develop this network in these
we
5,
used, to,
6
we
years?
used to work together, na? HCL. So, yeah, so later on one day he called me saying, we've started this, you know that? I said, yeah, of course I know. Why don't you come and join and head our Bangalore operations so you can, all of South India you can manage. You've been a sales guy all this while, now you can become a regional manager and all that. It was fun and new technology again, you know. Everything was high-end computing and scientific methodologies and all. So I said, okay. And I switched to this company called OMC Computers, which was a very leading company those days. And Tatas were very fond of it too. I was there for 3 years in Bangalore. Then we had this collaboration with this company called Silicon Graphics in the US and to manufacture their machines. So that was going to happen in Hyderabad. So Mohan said, I think you should transfer to Hyderabad and look after the national level business for this company, from Hyderabad.
You were married already or no?
Yeah, I was married already.
So you were lock, barrel, and stock.
Yeah,
Chal-
yeah. So then we moved to Hyderabad. So I was there for another 6 years. And that's when, I got a call from Mr. Kohli's office. FC Kohli was the founder of TCS. I don't know, a lot of people may know him. He was the founder of TCS. He's called the doyen and father of the IT industry in India. So he was also the chairman of Tata Elxsi.
Okay.
So he called me one day and said, why don't you come and see me? So that's when the story starts unfolding. I go to Bombay Air India building. That's where his corporate office was. And he said, so how are you? What do you do? I told him my job and what I do and all that. Then he said, within 15 minutes, he switched tracks and says, do you know about Tata Elxsi? I said, Mr. Kohli, I've just heard about this company. It's new. I don't know exactly much about it. Then he gave me the full story of Tata Elxsi and how the company needs to kind of pull up its bootstraps. It's not doing well. We're in a lot of losses and all that. So can you come and join and turn around this company? I will help you.
This is which year?
This was in 93. So I said, I was dumbstruck actually. And somebody like Mr. Kohli, his stature, he was like a father figure. He was, some god actually. For the IT people, he was like a god. And he telling me, Devarajan, why don't you come and join us and let's straighten this place out. I was elated. At the same time, I felt very challenged. At the same time, I said, an offer coming from Mr. Kohli, I can't say no. Whether it's doable or not, I don't know. But I cannot say no to him. But if he says do it, I will do it. So I took up a whole job as a challenge. So let's make it happen. There's nothing like can't happen. So we can do it. We have to find a way. So that's how I joined Tata Elxsi.
What was Tata Elxsi doing and what was the crisis?
Okay, so let's get back to the history of Tata Elxsi also. So Tata Elxsi was originally Elxsi Corporation. It was a California-based computer company, and they made the state-of-the-art computers of its time. It was the first computer company founded by an Indian in the United States. One Thambi Thomas was the person who founded Tata Elxsi in the US. Now, Tatas were looking at always starving for technology, and Mr. Ratan Tata had come on board already, and he was wanting to do something high tech always. He has that he had that very geeky kind of approach to life and work. He was very fond of high-end toys like this. So he wanted to do something. So after a discussion with the Tata Sons board, Elxsi wanted more funding. They got some funding from the local VCs there in the US, but they wanted more funding, and Tata's actually invested in Elxsi over there. But as part of the investment agreement, Tatas were told you will not have access to this technology to market in the US and European markets. You can take this technology and replicate it in the Far East Asia and Indian markets. So that is the agreement, because we have built this company and it is meant for the American market and European market. So for the other market outside of these, you have the rights. So that's how Tata Elxsi Singapore was born. So they brought the whole thing to Singapore, while parallelly Tata Elxsi was happening there. So it's funny, normally, computers are manufactured in, say, the US and sent all over the world. Here, parallelly, it was being manufactured. They had a manufacturing operation in Singapore to make, sell, design for the local market, that is the Asian market, and this was going in this side also. And then came a time when again technology transformations happened, generations changed, new CPUs came in, processors changed, and Elxsi lost its edge. Because a new wave of generation of chips like MIPS processors, RISC processors came into the market, and computers became again 1/3 of the price and about 10 times as powerful. So Elxsi lost in the battle and got absorbed by another local American company there. And all that happened while this was also happening in Singapore. So Singapore was selling to the China market, Australian market, Indian market and all that. And because the government of India was not allowing high tech to be done by Indian companies in India then. We were still, everything was public sector. Na? So defense electronics, Bharat Electronics, computers, ECIL.
No, I understand it was regulated, but it was just not allowed.
Not allowed. Then semiconductors, SCL, semiconductor complex in Haryana. So it was all like that. So all this was restricted to government ownership, not private ownership. Then moment the license Raj got lifted and the economics reforms happened in 92, when P.V. Narasimha Rao opened it up, they brought Tata Elxsi to India because it was easier to operate out of India.
So one question for clarity, sir. Prior to liberalization, in terms of computing systems and modern technologies, HCL or all other companies were actually selling the product. They were not.
No, but they were all very low end. Na?
Low end.
These were all very high end stuff.
Okay, so there was a segregation where high end stuff entry was not allowed. It was regulated. Fiercely regulated.
Correct.
And so much so that even with license and permissions, you could not get into the market. It was only after LPG reforms that it happened that government sort of allowed.
Just to tweak that answer a bit, because of the need, all these sanctions, US sanctions and all were happening. So at that point in time, the government actually gave 3 licenses to 3 companies to manufacture high-end systems in India. So one was ECIL. They collaborated with an American company called Control Data to make those high-end computers in Hyderabad. There was another small computer company called PSI in Bangalore. And they collaborated with a large European French company called Bull, and they were manufacturing the Bull mainframes in Bangalore. So we collaborated. We didn't have to collaborate, but we brought in the Tata Elxsi systems into thing and said we will manufacture the Elxsi computer.
Okay, so Tata Elxsi had already taken shape in the US and Singapore, and you
just brought the technology. We got a license, one of the third one to get the license, and we brought in Tata Elxsi to India.
And operations mostly out of
Bangalore.
Okay.
Bangalore is a corporate office. But then when all this happened, at the same time, Elxsi shut down and everything happened. And we were saddled with all the investments we made. So we had to pay know-how fees. Then we had to bring in capital goods. We had to bring in all the manufacturing kits. So a lot of investments went into bringing Elxsi into Bangalore.
And as soon as it came, it sort of became redundant.
So we were saddled with dud inventory. dud capital goods, and a lot of know-how fees were given. So we listed the company when it was brought to India. So most of the equity that was already kind of swallowed by all this investments that we
Yes.
did. Then we said, okay, now because we had a manufacturing license, can we look at an alternate product to Elxsi for India? And they scouted around, found the same silicon graphics which we used to have at OMC Computer. They had servers which were very similar to the Elxsi servers, but at a lower cost, like I said. And they said, we will collaborate with them and manufacture those servers now instead of the Elxsi servers. Another round of investments went, know-how fees to Silicon Graphics, brought all the manufacturing kits for the Silicon Graphics servers, brought in the kits, the boards and all that to start assembly. Soon after that happened, 1992 happened, and the market just opened up. So there was no need to make anything. So just think of if it wasn't for bad luck, there would be no luck at all.
Two poor investments already.
Yeah, too poor. And we were in deep red, no business, and
A lot of investments.
And people were just running like plucked chicken, don't know what to do. Though we were selling, but nowhere near the numbers that we wanted. No. So that was at 92 that happened. 93 I came on board to Tata Elxsi.
93. How old were you, sir?
38, 39, something like that. Yeah, 30.
That is when you're perhaps perhaps the youngest.
No, when I got as a director, which was I was about 41, 42, I was the youngest director in the Tata Group those days.
So
now the directors are very young. You have 30s and 40s, but those days
it was
everybody was 55, 50 plus.
So you were the harbinger of change. So you joined Tata Elxsi now. Tata Elxsi is in deep red. This book essentially is also about how Tata Elxsi was brought to life.
Correct.
We've already understood the sort of context where the world is in, where India was in. In general, computing had begun to take a stronger footing in this space. There were companies flourishing across the world which were manufacturing and selling computing systems, hardware as well as software systems. Shri F.C. Kohli ji was a doyen, and he was establishing or working towards building the software company. And of course, it was the same domain.
Quite established. TCS was already established.
And you had worked close to 20 years already, or 15 years in the hardware domain, where you were selling units, you were building that business. You get into Tata Elxsi and you see that it's in deep red. Shri F.C. Kohli, of course, suggested, requested, offered you the job, and you came on board. How did this turnaround happen? And lessons along the way.
Okay.
Because the reason I want to seek all these lessons and learnings from you is because this entire story is actually documenting the story of India's technological rise. Eventually, we want to get on to talking about how Bangalore was at the center of all of it.
Got it. So, what one had to do was, say you're faced with a problem. So I come on board, I'm faced with a problem. We had good people, but no direction, no vision as to what, because all this while they were all selling computers to the enterprise market, which is the BFSI, the banks, financial institutions, stock exchanges, all those things were going on. Then I looked at, who was our competition? In the product business, we had HCL as a competition, Wipro as a competition. Those days, there was this company called Digital, made very good computer systems. They were a competition. IBM was already in as a competition. Hewlett Packard was a competition. So with so many big brand names, what can we do? Tata Elxsi is a young kid, hardly 9 to 10 crores revenue. So don't mistake me on the revenue, because when we were about 12 crores revenue in India, Infosys was 30 crores revenue. Okay. So just to draw a parallel, just creating that datum line. So people say, only 12 crores. Yeah, Infosys was only 30 crores the same year. Okay. So this is from the annual report I'm
Annual
quoting.
reports.
I've quoted that in the book also. So I said, now if you have to compete with all these giants, we are a minuscule company. One, two, we are not even making money, so I can't say I will invest heavily into flourishing our image. I can't do that. So what do? I have to do something very different from what other companies are doing. Steer away from competition, not run away. Steer away from competition and do something different. Then I said, let's look at these areas. No, we had the SDI workstations. We had good team of people. Why not get into completely a different niche, like design engineering, animation, drug design and pharma for molecular modeling and all that. Look at all the DRDOs in this country, defense R&D labs, Department of Space. They need good computing power, good design for all these satellites, PSLVs, ASLVs are all coming up. And and we were looking at the Tejas, which was on the drawing board. So can we help them, with advanced computing, scientific computing power that we can offer, build solutions for that. So we looked at all. I was saying that should be our direction. In the meanwhile, I know every year Mr. Ratan Tata used to call for a CEO's offsite. 3 days, 2 days we used to meet, and 89 companies in the group. No, so at the keynote of the first one, which I attended, he said, folks, I think as a Tata brand, we must enhance our brand, enhance our business, this and that. And the only way to do it, I think each one of you should believe that you can be number one or number two in the business that you're in, or don't be there. So that hit me like a bullet, actually. What he said. This is something which I have to take as a mantra and see what we can do. Makes sense, because what's the point in being runners up in the business, no? Somewhere with Hewlett Packard there, and we are also selling, they are also selling. Let's change completely our tracks. So we just got down, four or five of us sat down and reworked our strategy, our business strategy. Let's look at 4 verticals, businesses. One is for engineering design for all the engineering companies, automotive, heavy engineering, BHELs, railways, all these guys, let's look at engineering design solutions. So we looked at the product was there, looked at software companies in the US to tie up with who could provide these solutions. So end to end, we were trying to patch a solution so that we could sell for anything, design, product design, styling, So if you want to build new cars, new scooters, new mixies, you have to do a nice aesthetic styling. It has to look good, no? So all those kind of application softwares we started looking at. And then somebody asked me, so what are you trying to do? One of my prospective customers asked me, engineering customer, Devarajan, what are you trying to do? I mean, what is Tata Elxsi going to offer? I said, we will offer everything from concept to manufacturing. What's in your mind, it'll go into a product. I said, like an art to part, I said. Then I loved my phrase, art to part. Sounds good, no? So I said, let's adopt that as a mantra. So what do you offer for the engineering community? Art to part. So whatever you put on the drawing board as on a piece of paper, a sketch, that'll get converted into a component or a sub-assembly or a machine. Then I did one trip to the US, signed up with all these software companies and brought their suite of products, got our guys trained. It was, again, a Herculean task because it's very easy to say all these things. Likewise, in the pharma, scientific research, molecular chemistry, molecular biophysics, there were products. I had to work with the government and see that we create those centers of biotechnology in this country and offer our solutions for them. I worked very closely with the Institute of Science in Bangalore, saying this is what we are trying to do. Are you game? Because they were the leaders in this. So a few professors said, we would love to have this technology, we'd love to have these products.
No, so help me understand. Sir. So TCS was trying to was making software.
TCS was the software services. Yeah. We were not into services.
And manufacturing was already being provided by multiple players. Hardware systems and setups, big systems, computation technologies were being
manufacturing, in terms of manufacturing design, nobody was offering.
Okay.
Design. So when I say design is, okay, I want to build this phone. What all goes inside the phone? What all goes outside the phone? I have to design this phone, no? I have to design.
So nobody was in this, or was everybody doing it independently in their own R&D labs?
Say take a car. India was not designing cars, no? That time, no cars were being made in India. India was not. So if I have to design the dashboard, design the bumper, design the engine module, nobody was doing that.
And whoever was doing it was doing in their own research labs within the.
No, nobody was doing that.
Nobody was doing it.
No, there was nothing being made.
Everybody was just copying.
Copying and not even doing. No, what was being made those days? Nothing. No. Yeah.
So you found. How did this idea come to you? Okay, let's just get into it.
See, if I can give a solution, if I give you the tools, you'll say, now I know how to do it. If you don't have the tools, you'll be groping in the dark.
So your idea, the reason idea stuck to you is because
there is an opportunity. I saw an opportunity. You know,
there's absolutely vacuum. Yeah. Nobody is doing
it.
Okay.
So and these 4 opportunities that I talked about, the thing about opportunities, I see an opportunity. I sell it to you. I tell you, this is an opportunity. Are you okay with it? You say, okay. Then I should be geared enough to support you in that. How to help you set up this whole thing. So my people have to be trained. Then you should have people. That's another problem. You should have people to run this. You love the idea, but you don't have anybody. You don't have cameramen here. So you say, I will become a podcaster, but I don't have cameramen. First of all, I didn't have cameras. So once I got the camera, I don't have cameramen. Then I have to train the cameraman, saying this is how you have to shoot. So we have to actually train the designers, create designers in, say, Mahindra's or Tata Motors or Eicher or Escorts, and tell them what to do, train those people. And there are some companies who actually jointly with us, like Atlas Copco in Pune, jointly with us said, let us we will invest in a training facility. We will start training fresh engineers into this design aspect, how to do. You guys come and take classes there. Once one round happens, they can start training the others. We'll start creating a funnel of design engineers. NID was there in Ahmedabad. NID was churning out 20, 30 people. So we offered a solution to NID, saying that take these computer systems, take these solutions. We got all the software free for them.
But calling it a Herculean task is sort of like a I don't know, it doesn't justify as to what you're actually out there creating a space and you're creating an ecosystem.
So suppose, like...
And you're already in red.
Yeah, so we said, see, we're already in red. But you will just shut down if you don't do anything very different. So I said, for example, if I tell you, you can design this tumbler, in your company, your Yera glassware or Hitkari or whatever, you can design this tumbler. Very good, thank you. Your solution looks very good. Can you design and show me? Design one tumbler and show me. So our guys used to sit and design one to prove it. Otherwise, the guy is a virgin on that subject, man. So we had to teach him how to do that and show him a proof of concept that this is possible. Likewise, we did that in the animation market. See, India is huge. Bollywood.
So Elxsi then got into which all?
These 4 segments. So one was engineering design. 2 was in the molecular modeling for the pharma scientists, biochemists and all that. Because nobody was in that market. Animation and VFX. India was not doing anything. We have the largest movie producers in the world. If you take Bollywood and Tollywood, South movies. But there was nothing in animation. And for the aerospace and defense, like I said, no.
And you got it in the second it was planned that you want to get into the space.
These 4 verticals.
These 4 verticals were set from day one. Like no tweaking along the way.
No. We said, let's do it. And then we found it was viable. So there was no, thank God it was not required to tweak anything. Yeah. Sort of bells and whistles we added, deleted.
So this is perhaps in 94, 95 that you took a call that this is the direction where
and even today, that is the mainstay for the vision strategy of the company. After 40 years,
40 years
40, they still are on the same subject.
So when was the first time that you faced any sort of a competition in this space after you
They
guys?
started coming. Competition will come. See, moment they see an opportunity and they see somebody's developed the market, people start coming in. So it doesn't matter here. Competition is good. You create more market. Actually.
So this is what interests me. Around 3 decades ago, you made a fresh market, right? When computing systems were happening, everybody in the world was sort of doing it, and everybody knew that this, or majority people had an inkling that this is where the world is heading. So there was manufacturing, there was a market, there were traders cropping up, and all of this was well settled.
And the US market was already maturing.
Yes, and it
on
was
the same verticals I'm talking about.
Okay, so in design setups also,
there were already automation and design thinking was all happening there.
Did some sort of information flow happen between US and India?
No,
per se, your interactions.
So we kind of tied up with all these software companies which were popular in the US in these markets and said, okay, now we will bring them to India and provide the solution for the Indian market.
So run me down.
Which was a proven software in the US market.
So there's a proof of concept in the US market. You built an opportunity for in India, and in India you started delivering solutions. Run me through the numbers a bit, sir. Where were you as a company? Where did you stand before this trajectory took over? And what happened later?
Like I said, around the time I joined, our revenues were about 12 crores. Our losses, accumulated losses, were almost 29 crores. Okay. Then it was upswing only after that. I can't recall.
Let's say 4 or 5 years. Let's give it.
I'll tell you by, this was 93. By about 98, we turned around the company and declared our first dividend. 98, 99. I think we declared our first dividend,
and that was also right after the tech crisis, when the Asian tech crisis.
We were not bothered about it. We didn't get impacted at all.
Okay. So 98, 99, and that is the trajectory the company has taken.
Yeah. Then uske baad it was up and away.
So
5 years about.
5 years about, you turned it around. Where was Bangalore per se as a city in the center of it? So today everybody knows and everybody talks about the Silicon Valley of the country. There's a lot of innovation. It's given startups ecosystem, built the startup ecosystem. And a lot of our software innovations are happening in Bangalore. A lot of outsourcing services are happening in Gurgaon, etc. How was Bangalore critical to all of this development? Not just from Elxsi perspective, but also from the larger space that you've seen, observed over these years.
Yeah, so there are two aspects of it. Till now, till about 96, 97, 98 that we talked about, Tata Elxsi was only in the system integration space to service the domestic Indian market and the Indian customers only. We never did software services like the Infi and the Wipros and the TCS to the global market. Okay. It was only around that time we were starting, but till then we didn't. So if you look at Bangalore as a market, the IT companies in Bangalore, the software services companies in Bangalore, were certainly booming around that time. Yeah. So I still remember attending some Bhumi Puja of some of these IT parks in Bangalore. We're saying what is going to happen. Big parks are coming up. We never knew the magnanimity of what was going to happen. It was like a huge nuclear explosion that was waiting to happen. So we saw all that happening actually. And before you know it,
was there some sort of a government interest?
Yeah, government, because employment,
government wanted to do it.
Employment, money, everything.
And the private investors or private people showed up.
Private people all started showing up later actually. Initially, see, for software services, you didn't need so much money. Na? Your people was your money. Na? Your whole human capital was important. Yeah. So for infrastructure, a lot of these builders started building. So I would say most of these big software companies, services companies, are all debt-free companies.
Sir, in terms of lessons now, because I want to get into a last part of a conversation here. In terms of leadership lessons, you focused upon, and I think you were saying that it's the spine of the book is relationships. Uh, Tell me a bit about it.
See, I don't know whether it's a management dictum or it's my personal trait. So I always believe that relationships come before business. And if relationship happens, the business happens along with it. And it's not something which is a give and take. You keep that relationship going. Whether it is required or not for the business, it doesn't matter. You build a bond with somebody. Like I'll tell you, some of my customers, some of my employees, like Arjun Malhotra you talked about in the beginning. I mean, I've engaged with him as an employee in 1978 onwards. We are still in touch. Take Mr. Mohan Reddy, who founded Scient. He was the one who started OMC Computers. He was with me in HCL. Our relationship goes back 45 years. Some of my customers at Tata Elxsi and before that at HCL, I'll tell you one of the largest film customers. There's a production company in Chennai called Prasad Productions. They were the largest. It was like, say, a B.R. Chopra in Mumbai, very large production house. They used to make all the hit Bollywood, Hindi and South Indian movies. So they also had the largest film processing lab in this country. So that they had labs in Chennai, Hyderabad, Bombay. They monopolized the film processing lab. So one day I got a call from him, Mr. Prasad, saying that we have a issue which we want to solve. Can you help us? I said, what is the problem? He said, we keep importing negatives, reels, negative reels, and give it to producers for shooting. And they pay an advance. Sometimes they pay some money. So there's an always ongoing running account between the producer and the film laboratory in giving them raw stock of films. And they keep paying bits and pieces for it. And then they will ask for more film. They'll again pay ad hoc some money. So we can never, at the end of the production, we have to reconcile how much money he has paid and how much money he is owed. Because it's a running account which goes on 18 to 24 months sometimes. Those days, movies used to take 2 years to finish. And he says we are sometimes losing track. And then what happens is once the film is complete, they give it, all the negative is given to the lab. They process it and make the positive print. For that also, there's a fee to be paid. And he says what we do is till all the money is not paid, we don't release the positive print. So it will never go for screening. So, but we need to quickly reconcile, and sometimes it takes months to reconcile. It may be faulty reconcile. Can you do something with your accounting system? So the HCL days. So I've got my software expert, and we discussed, and so we can do that for you. So we developed that whole software for Prasad Productions, and he was very happy. He said, "Yeah, it seems to be working well. I'm able to reconcile, get my money back quickly, and know who my defaulting producers are and all that." And we became very good friends with that Ramesh Prasad, who was the son of L.V. Prasad. L.V. Prasad is like, I don't know, Prithviraj Kapoor and that kind of doyens. And he used to be very nice to me, and we used to meet regularly once in a way. Much older than me also, about 15 years older than me. And then every Thursday he would call me from his office. Friday is a new release for movies. So Thursday he'll call me and say, "Devarajan." I said, "What, Ramesh, what is the thing?" No, tomorrow, tonight we are screening, this evening there's a screening of this new movie, Bollywood movie or Tamil movie, whatever. Any of your guys from office want to come, they can come to the preview theatre and see the movie before it goes to the screens. And I used to tell my guys in the office, many would go, and see the movie. Every Thursday you will say, this is the movie is releasing tomorrow, today is a preview. Why should he do that? He was just a customer, Then later on, once I moved to OMC Tata Elxsi, his son was a Chutku guy. He studied in New York and he studied on animation and all that. Came back and Ramesh calls me much later, 10, 12 years later, saying, "You're in Tata Elxsi." I said, "Yeah." "No, my son Sai, he's wanting to do something in animation. So can you help him out? So I went and met this young boy, and he's about 25 years old. And I helped him configure and sell animation solutions to him. He made a lot of investments. And he became the biggest VFX and animation guy in South India. Okay. And he got Filmfare Awards and all that. And he grew his business very big. And today, this I'm talking about again, 96, 97. Today, about 4-5 years back, Sai called me. They were doing consulting around. Can you? My two kids are now taking over the business. That guy is 62 now, and can you mentor them and see? I said, Sai, for you, I'll do anything pro bono. I don't want to even talk about monies. I'll just come to Chennai, spend 2-3. Just give me a accommodation. That's all in a hotel. I'll spend 3 days with your boys, and I've gone there at least once in 8 months. And when I launched my book, he came and attended the book launch. He spoke at length about our relationship and all that stuff. So
How about Mr. Ratan Tata?
Ratan Tata is a different league altogether. No? Yeah, I never got into that kind of a relationship.
But there's an episode where you speak about, you offered some names.
Yeah.
Tata Elxsi.
But we had a lot of interaction work-wise.
Work-wise
Yeah, with
interaction.
him, yeah. He was a great man. Yeah, an absolute geek on technology. Whenever there's technology around him, he forgets everything else and starts playing around with it. Boys' toys.
So let's think about business in terms of making a business successful. What are key attributes that a small company which wants to become a large company and a very successful company should focus upon?
So I think one is very key attribute is be a proper team player. You be a leader. A leader has to be a team player, not leader and team. Play hockey, play football, where the captain plays along with the team. That's very important for the success of the company. As a company grows, you can delegate and move away. But in the initial phases, you have to be there with the team, motivate the team, and be one of them. You learn from them, they learn from you. It's not that the leader knows everything. It's always, there's always things to learn. And the younger guys and girls who are there always end up knowing more than you. So you keep learning from them and they learn from you different things, right? So be a team player and always ensure that you have a vision. What do you want to be? What do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Where does this highway take you? And how do you get there is the next question. So that is your strategy.
Those 3 questions need to be addressed.
Then I think most important fabric that covers all this is your drive and passion. You have to be passionate in what you do, and then it'll work.
Is passion an over discussed or oversold
I don't think
proposition?
So. I don't think it's oversold at all. That's a problem. Yeah, you have to be passionate. It has to come from within, not just say it.
I generally say whenever I'm driving some lessons or telling people there's got to be one for the kitchen, one for the soul. So, but there's always this hope that those two combine, that those two converge at some point. Very often it doesn't happen. So how does one bridge that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's important that your passion drives your vision. It doesn't drive the strategy.
Okay.
It kind of makes you dream of the goal, and you will do everything that it takes to reach there. And the team is there with you to drive the strategy, along with you. So that's what works finally.
In terms of the long corporate career, yes. In terms of a long corporate career, in fact, building businesses in the country, are there any important inflection points that you see over the last 2-3 decades, which have sort of, after which the India growth story has took another pace? Any important inflection points that you would want to say?
See, one India growth story that's happened in the last decade is the startups, which is a new concept in India, which had not happened earlier. People used to go to the US and do startups, young kids from here. But now they're doing the startups from here. Why? Earlier, if you look at my generation or your generation or whatever, the young kids today have their parental support
Mm.
to fund them.
Mm.
Okay, when I was young, all our parents were all in government service, basically.
Mhm.
Not so many in business, but many of them, I would say 60-70% of the parents were in government service. And they did not have money to give me to, they couldn't say, hey, Dave, take 50 lakhs and have fun, do a startup. If it fails, doesn't matter, we are there.
Mm.
So that was not so those days. But today, for the younger generation, there is a very high level of parental support from the corporate parents.
Mm.
Those days, they used to go to the US because of venture funds and all that to fund your idea. In India, that was also not there. So now things have changed. So I think the whole ecosystem for startup is very conducive. And apart from what you call family, you have VCs also helping fund innovation.
And it is showing results also.
It's showing results.
Because the remarkable innovation that the country is seeing over the last
Absolutely.
10 years,
Huh.
it's just on a different level.
Huh.
There are companies flourishing all across the country which are essentially
True.
built upon their software specialty.
Hmm.
That being said, sir,
Yeah.
I had a great amount of learning, quite enjoyed this conversation with you.
If you need to carry it
Yes,
onwards, we can do that
we
another
have
day.
Another
Yeah.
day, we
Yeah.
must do that.
Because I need to rush for another meeting
yes.
right now.
But what we are going to do in a couple of days after your meetings and when you fly back or if you're traveling to town again, is we're going to specifically drive questions on leadership qualities, where we'll make small bites. But until then, sir, thank you very much for taking up
It
the
was
time.
a pleasure, Arjun, to
It's,
engage with you.
I highly recommend Design to Win, the Tata Elxsi Story by Shri S. Devarajan ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely.